Recorded live from the English Valley's History Center, it's Saturday, January 17th, 2026. Here's Jackie.
My name is Jackie Geringer McDermott, and I'm going to read to you from the diary written by Libby Wade. She was my dad's great aunt, and her full name was Mary Elizabeth Claypool Wade. She is 75 years old in September of 1950. And here is a picture of Lib and her great-granddaughter Barbara Wade, who was born in 1949. This picture was taken down on Clark Street in front of her son, Perky Wade's house. September 13th, 1950. Cold and dark. I have the work mostly done. Tracy stopped in a while. She said that Vernon is to go to Des Moines today for his physical exam. He was married last Saturday to Marilyn Kirkpatrick. So many are being called. It sounds as if all of our young men are to go. Tracy Wallace was my paternal great-grandmother and a friend of Lib's. Here's a picture of her and her late husband, Frank Wallace. Tracy is talking about her grandson, Vernon Geringer, who was just married last Saturday to Marilyn Kirkpatrick, daughter of the Homer Kirkpatricks. Lib is worried about the escalating conflict in Korea and is worried that many soldiers will be needed. Vernon Geringer is on the left in this picture in the back row above his dad. And his bride, Marilyn Kirkpatrick, is shown here in a school picture. I read and worked and did a lot of things. Russell's stomach is acting up again. It is so hard to cook. It was a long, lonesome day. Russell went to the church in the evening, a reception for the teachers, I believe. Russell Wade is Lib's youngest son, and she lives in his house with him, and she cooks and keeps house for him and for herself. And he's in this picture. He's in the center. His brother Wayne or Perky Wade is on the left. Russell or Taller Wade is in the middle. And on the right is their brother Warren or Mike Wade. September 14th, 1950. My foot hurts today. The weather is nicer, so I can't blame it as I sometimes try to do. I was a little discouraged and called Ethel to come and help, clean upstairs, etc. Ethel McCarter is 32 years old, and her husband, Max McCarter, works for Lib's oldest son in his trucking and corn shelling business. Sometimes Lib hires Ethel to help with projects, as Lib's health is not the best anymore. Jenny came up and we talked about a rug. Have been planning for some time to get one for the kitchen. Finally, she went and picked it out at Jack Ross's. The men, Bud McCarter, and the undertaker Williams brought it up. Jenny Wade is married to Lib's oldest son, Wayne or Perky Wade, and she is second from the left in the front row of this picture with her family. Lib is calling Mahana Furniture and Funeral Service by the name of the current manager, Jack Ross, who is married to one of the Mahana girls. Jenny went to the store, and the flooring was delivered by Bud McCarter, who works at the store, and Mr. Williams, who was employed by the same firm as an undertaker. Pictured in this picture are Jack Ross on the left, Dean Best, who was an undertaker for the firm right after that, and Bud McCarter on the right. This is from the Centennial, because they have their Centennial outfits on. Should say the Centennial was in 1954, in case anybody doesn't know. Jenny and Flossie had taken some things out of the room and so now it is down. Flossie was here only long enough to help. She had to meet Barbara at 3:30. Flossie West is the granddaughter of Lib's cousin Wallace Claypool. Flossie often stops to see Lib and lives out with her parents, Millard and Molly Claypool, north of town. Her young daughter, Barbara West, attends school in North English. Flossie told about the Yankee Point Church being moved. They took the church out east to the corner and then up to north to Parnell. Moved along at a pretty good rate. A lot of men helped. And here's the story I found in the newspaper about the Yankee Point Church being moved. It was the Yankee Point Methodist Episcopal Church, and it was bought by the Mennonites, and after it was moved, it was a church in Parnell. Mary R. came up this p.m. She always brings something nice. This time, a glass of grape jelly and some fresh sage leaves. Mary Regseger is a friend who lives a block east on Oak Street. Mary has been very sick but is now better. Mary is in the right top corner of this picture with her late husband Fred Regseger and many other Regsegers. Ida Ferris stopped in. She had a bag of grapes she got from Mrs. Bolt's. She left them for Russell or Myrtle to take home for her. Russell came and got them. Ida Williams Ferris is 85 years old and the mother of our local banker, Russell Ferris. Ida stopped to see the neighbor, 89-year-old Elizabeth or Lizzie Geiger Bowles. As Ida was walking past Lib's house, she stopped and left the grapes Lizzie gave her for someone else to take on home for her, namely Lib's son Russell, or Ida's daughter-in-law, Myrtle Ferris, who works at the Home Lumber Company with Russell. And here's a picture of Myrtle that was featured in the North English Record at Centennial time. And here's another picture of Myrtle that I found in her later years with her sister. And it was Russell who got to take the grapes to Ida Ferris. When Russell came for supper, he was some surprised to find the rug already down. It looks nice. It was not costly, $10.71. I don't know yet about the stove. The stovepipe is rusted and not fit to use. We may get a new heating stove of some kind. Jenny and Evelyn and her girls, and Hazel and Bobby were here a while this evening. Evelyn Kurtz is Lib's married granddaughter, and she is in the second row. She is in the top row, second from the right in this picture with her birth family. And Suzanne Kurtz is Evelyn's 8-year-old daughter. And here's a picture of her when she was younger with her aunts Hazel Cobb and Belva Yoss. And Kathy Kurtz is also Evelyn's daughter, and here's a school picture of Kathy. Hazel Cobb is Evelyn's younger married sister. And Bobby Cobb is a little boy that Hazel and her husband Glenn Cobb have adopted. September 15th, 1950. Another nice clear day. Russell was surprised and pleased with the rug and having it down too. I think the bother of putting it down was more dreaded than anything. We have soft water this morning. The new water softener is in use now. I hope it will be as nice as it is supposed to be. It sure makes nice suds with but little soap. And here is the water softener story from the North English Record. One of the very nicest things that ever happened to our town is the installation of the water softener by the town council. It's wonderful. Housewives are gleeful because they can now use city water for washing, and you can now wash your hands without having them feel as if they had a vinegar bath. Larry Miller came and gave me my cold shot, the third one. He is a lot like his dad. Will be as good a doctor, no doubt. You were right, Lib. Larry was a great doctor, too. And here is Doc, Larry, and Johnny with their children 16 years later. Russell went to Cedar Rapids today. I forgot he was to go and had dinner ready before I thought of it. I ate and washed dishes and went back to my book. Jenny was here a while. She brought such pretty flowers, a bunch of red roses, her own, and some verbenias and daisies. Lib loves flowers, and many of her friends bring her beautiful bouquets. In the PM, Maud was in, and Ethel stopped a few minutes. Mrs. John Kirkpatrick sent me a lovely bouquet of asters, purple and white and pink. Maud Claypool is married to Lib's nephew, Ray Claypool, and she often comes to visit, and Mrs. John Kirkpatrick was a woman from town. Saw in the Cedar Rapids paper that the battleship Missouri arrived today at Korea. Dale went on that ship. Dale Bishop was a neighbor kid who grew up and went to the service. Lib writes to him overseas. Hattie called me today. She is not very well today. She received her call to go to Iowa City the 27th of September. Hattie knew Barry Killian was a friend of Lib's who has cancer and will be going to the University of Iowa hospitals soon for treatment. I was excited to find this picture of Hattie Killian this week and the pictures that belong to Laddie Van Dyke and his second wife, Amy Rowe Van Dyke, that Trish Garrity brought up to the History Center. And here's the picture. My mom always talked about Hattie because she lived in Hattie's house on Boland Avenue as a boarder when she worked at the English Valleys Cooperative Creamery before she was married. Mom's best friend, Leona Bursler, and her husband, Levon, also lived with Hattie and later owned that same house. Received Anna's letter. Everett is better. Arlen don't know yet when he'll go. Registered in inactive reserves, the same as Verl. Anna Cray is Lib's married daughter in Texas. And the Everett that she's talking about is Everett Curl, who is Anna's uncle on the Wade side of the family, who was severely injured in a car wreck in Iowa. Arlen Wade is 21 years old and Lib's middle grandson in Texas, who eventually joined the Navy. And Verl Cray is Arlen's younger brother. September 16th, 1950. Bright and nice, but cool. Russell went to work as usual. Not much I can do, so I wrote to Mary Carter. Mary Welch Carter was Lib's childhood friend who moved to Washington State with her husband William Carter, the adopted son of the William Carters who lived east of North English. Jenny was up a few minutes. She said Grace Sears Kaiser has a new baby over here at Minnie Zelmer's. It is a girl, weighed 6 pounds plus. And here's Grace Sears Kaiser. She was the wife of Jim Kaiser, and they lived east of town on a farm. Minnie Zilmer does nursing from her home across the street. And the